What's going on, guys? Billy Davidson here with another parking lot striping video. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple things that were a bit unusual. So before we get into the video, I want to give a shout out to our two newest members of the All-Pro Parking Lot Striping course. We have Dustin out in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and also Jeff out in Dallas, Texas. Two incredible markets, and I know these guys are going to do phenomenal this year, just starting the All-Pro Parking Lot Striping course. Also, I want to give a shout out to two of our newest subscribers out in Central Louisiana, Sierra and Dax. So guys, this particular project had been on the books for several months, and this was out in Mississippi, so we had to travel several hours to get to this job, but it was very much worth the traveling to get there because of the pay was so much. And you'll see once you get into parking lot striping, the pay is probably 10 times more than what you're doing with pressure washing, probably 20 times more than what you're getting out of landscaping, that sort of thing. But there is a lot that goes into parking lot striping and a lot to learn. The learning curve can be quite impressive and intimidating to go through, and that's why we have developed the 12-hour online video training course, which you can find in the first pinned comment below and the description below if you're interested in shaving years off of the training curve. On this particular project, we had two major problems go wrong, and we were hours away from home, so we had to work through these issues, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. The first issue was I inadvertently grabbed some paint that was out of date. I had bought a bunch of paint about a year ago when there was a pending paint shortage, and I inadvertently grabbed 3 of the wrong buckets out of the shop, and then we traveled several hours to get to this location just to find out that the paint that we had on the truck was no longer usable. So guys, if you've ever done that, especially after traveling several hours with a full crew, the truck's loaded down with equipment, you can imagine I almost had a heart attack. When I opened up that can and I seen that cottage cheese, I knew immediately that this machine was not going to siphon that paint out. The paint was dead. The machine wouldn't spray it. You can imagine. So we got on the internet. We found a vendor close by that, thank God, had some paint there, just enough to get the job done. And I teach this in the All-Pro Parking Lot Striping course about checking your paint before you leave the shop, especially if you're going to go several hours away, because oftentimes we travel. But that particular day, I didn't do it. It was my fault. And now what we're going to do, we're going to implement a new thing at our shop. We're going to label our paint with the date on it that we purchased it. That way, there'll be no more mistakes, because if this vendor didn't have enough paint, all we could have did was turn around and come home, or either spend a night at a hotel. It'd been a wasted day either way. But we got lucky and they had paint. I'm not going to say that's going to happen every time, because I think we just got lucky there. But it happened, and we going to label our paint with our dates. And again, it's totally my fault, because I'm the one that pulled the paint out the shop to put it in the truck a couple hours before we went to work. I could probably blame that on being overtired and striping too much, you know, that sort of thing, kind of getting ahead of myself. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't have made that mistake, and I just want to give that out information to y'all. And, you know, it would have probably cost us another $1,000 to stay overnight at hotels, the expenses of running the crew overnight. And one other issue we had on this job, we didn't realize there was going to be so much sand and dust on the lines to paint it. I had looked at this job months ago, and I put them on the books to get it done. When we got there, they had all that sand and dust on the lines, as y'all seen. So we had to blow and sweep the line. So make sure you bring extra tools and equipment with you, especially if you're traveling out of state, repainting parking lines. And don't do what I did. Make sure you check your paint before you leave the shop. Well, guys, I hope this video has been helpful. Thanks for watching it. If you don't mind hitting that like button, it helps out our YouTube algorithm. And go check out our website, which you can find in the first pinned comment and the description below, to the All-Pro Parking Lot Striping course. And I hope to see you in the next video.